In this video, I'm going to discuss about the facade design pattern, and that is part of the structural design pattern. What is the facade pattern? So, facade encapsulates the complex ecosystem behind the system interface. It hides much of the complexity and makes the subsystem easy to use. Beside a much simpler interface, there are one more benefit of using the design pattern. It decouples a client implementation from the complex subsystem. We can make changes to the existing subsystem and don't affect the client. And the third point, the facade pattern define a higher level interface that make the subsystem easier to use. The facade pattern, right, where it hide the complex system, right, and it provide the interface. If you see that in this picture, this is the non-facade way of implementation where these are the client. This is the one client, second client, and third client. When client is right calling the any of the API or calling any of the method, right, it going into the complete system and it trying to reconnect, right. It's a circular reference. All those things are happening, and after that, we get the so it's going through the complete complex process, and it's a very complicated system, right, for the client also to get all the information from each and every like subsystem. But in case of the facade, right, if you have implemented the facade design pattern in your right system, these are the client, right? So these three are clients. When the client will call, it will connect with this interface. Okay, so it will be easy for client to just access some of the interface, and whatever the request will become, it will go and easily connect with this complex system and find out the result, right, and provide to the user. So this is what the facade system do. Okay, so with this help of the facade design pattern, we can hide the complexity of the subsystem. Okay, and we will provide the interface that our client can use it easily. So what is the advantage of the facade design pattern? When you use this pattern, right, in our application, so facade can wrap the poorly designed collection of the APIs with a single well-designed API. So instead of the poorly designed multiple APIs, right, it can connect with a single design API. It can reduce dependency of the outside code on an inner working of its library, since most of the code use the facade. The facade can make the software library easier to use and understand, since the facade has convenient method for the common task. Right? When to use the facade pattern? Simple interaction is required to access the complex system. Then we will use the facade pattern. System are very complex or difficult to understand. Then also you will go for the facade pattern where we can hide the complexity from the user, right? And we'll provide the like simple interface so that user can connect with that interface. An entry point is needed to each level of the layered software. The abstraction and the implementation of the subsystem are tightly coupled. Okay, so we need to provide the we need to go with the facade pattern that will simplify the things. So I have created one sample application in Delphi for the facade pattern. So this is the UI, and click up the button, right. I'm calling the operation one and operation two. These two are the method that are the complex method, and that is hide it, right. The logic behind the operation one and operation two is hide it from the user, right, or we can say that the client. So client will know the what is the operation one they need to call it. It will calculate each and everything, whatever the logic behind that. Okay, and it will show that, right. It will report. And similarly in the operation two. So facade pattern said that we need to hide the complexity from the user. So here we are providing only the interface, like operation one and operation two are the interface, and this operation one and operation two, that logic I have written in the U facade pattern logic unit. Okay. So what is the example is this? Let me explain. So here I have the three operating system. Okay, and I'm getting the data from the all the features of the these operating system. Okay, so I've created the operating system, Microsoft operating system, and this is the class, and after that, right, I have one function, Microsoft operating system feature, that will return the feature of the Microsoft operating system. Okay. Similar, I have created the iOS operating system, then Android operating system. Okay, and these operating system, through the method we can get the feature of the operating system. Okay, and I'm just giving the definition of these operating system feature. Okay, just I'm putting the message all the, it's returning all the operating system feature. Okay, of iOS, similar way for the Android and Microsoft. Okay, for these method. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating one facade class. Okay, and in this facade class, I'm going to write doing the calculation, all the calculation what I need to do. Right, I will create a object of these operating system classes, and I can write the logic over there. Okay, and finally we will come out with the output. Okay, so here the T facade class and the class method I have created. Why I have created the class method, so that I can call from the, right, I can provide the access to the user right outside this unit, so that without creating the object directly they can call this operation 1 and operation 2. Okay, and this operation 1 and operation 2, what is the logic that client will not know. Okay, just they will know this is the operation 1 is one of the method that they need to call it, and they can get the specific information. And operation 2, similar way they can call, with that they will get the specific kind of information. Okay, so in the operation one method, okay, what I'm doing, so I'm creating the variable type of all the three classes, operating system, Microsoft, iOS, and Android. Okay, and after that I'm creating the object assigned to the variables, and then just I'm calling this method, right, of the class. So from the Microsoft, I'm calling the Microsoft OS feature, iOS, I'm calling the iOS feature. Okay, similarly for the Android also, right? And after that, free the memory for these objects that I've created. Okay, that is important to free the memory, because in Delphi we need to manually we need to free the memory. We don't have any garbage collection kind of concept that we have in the other language. Okay, like similar in the operation to what I'm doing, I'm creating only I'm getting the information for the only two operating system, that is iOS and Android. So taking the variable right of the iOS and Android class, I'm creating the object and assign to these variables, and then finally I'm just calling this method from this class method. Okay, so from the iOS I'm getting the feature of iOS, and from this Android. Okay, I'm calling the Android OS feature method. Okay, so in operation one, I'm getting the information of all the three operating system. In operation two, I'm getting the only operating system information. Okay, so what is the logic? Why we have written this? Because here this is the logic is written. This could be the complex for the understanding purpose, right? To explain this, I have written here the sample code. Okay, but this could be the complex, and usually do not worry about what are the, like, operation. They just need it operation one. They need the uh, Microsoft operating system, OS, iOS, and Android system detail. Okay, they are not worried about what logic is written, right, or what are the specific method, the specific class object they need to create it. Okay, and call the specific method. So they will just, it will expose only the operation 1 and operation 2 method exposed to the client. Okay, and that is exposed here. So because of this operation 1 and operation 2 method is the class type method. Okay, of the three facade class, so directly I can call these method by the class name, right? No need to create the object of this class to call the operation 1 and operation 2 method. So from the UI side, okay, on click of the button, just for the explanation purpose, just I put the button and click on the button. Here on the from the facade class, T facade class dot operation 1 and T facade dot operation 2. The user will get the information here, right? Because here we have exposed only the operation 1 and operation 2 method of the facade class, and operation 2 have lot of right code is written. Okay, it could be, using the multiple classes, multiple object, right, and then it's finally getting the output. So we are hiding those complexity from the our client or our user. and we are just exposing only the one method of operation, one method. You just can call this method and get all the information about the Microsoft operating system, iOS and Android. Okay, similarly for the operation 2, here user can get the iOS and Android like feature. Okay, so let's run and see it. So what I will do, I will just run it. Okay, just click on the facade, go F7 inside of this operation one method. It will create the object and assign to the Microsoft, iOS and Android. After that, it will call the method of these right classes, whatever we mentioned, like Microsoft operating feature, it call from the sys Microsoft object. Similarly, iOS feature from the iOS sys Android OS feature, call from the sys Android object. So it will show the message, okay? Operation on the Microsoft system feature, right? iOS operating system feature and all the Android operating system feature. Because these classes, right? These method, we have the just message we have put it, right? You can see that for the Microsoft OS feature, all the Microsoft operating system features. Similarly, the iOS feature is all the OS operating system feature. Android, all the Android operating system feature, right? So these messages just getting printed here in the show message. Okay, and the operation one. And after that, I'm freeing the object whatever I've created, right, manually. So these object I'm freeing. So this memory will be free and it will be used for the other operation. Again F7 I'm pressing so that we can go to the operation 2, and operation 2 here I'm creating the object of the iOS and object of the Android, assigning to the system iOS and Android as right object respectively, and then I'm just calling them from the sys iOS. I'm calling the iOS feature right method. From sys Android I'm calling the Android OS feature, okay, method. So now it will display the only the two OS right detail of the operating system. Okay, now I'm freeing these two objects that I have created.